Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome folks, today the Hungry Gamer is back with another episode of the Monthly Menu. Today we are talking about the top 5 games of February 2023. And we're just going to jump right in to see how I did on my predictions for February, starting with the list. And yes, we did knock one game off the list, and that was Wormholes. This is from AEG, and it is a quick, simple pick up and deliver style game, with the kind of catch being that when you move around the galaxy, you're able to drop wormholes and then bounce through the wormholes to pick up and deliver things faster than you would be able to do otherwise. Very clever little game, and really enjoying it, and just maybe this is a pick up and deliver that will actually stay on my shelf. We shall see. Next one on the list was Too Many Bones, and yes, we did play it. In fact, I played it twice with Canadian Kev, because as I mentioned in last month's monthly menu, I had recently gotten a Riffle, which is the new and in theory last character from Too Many Bones, and we both wanted to play it, so I played it first, and we got whooped, and then I switched, and Kevin played it the second time, and we won, and it's a very cool character. Like it. Can't say enough good things about Too Many Bones. Next one on the list was Revive, and this was my number 4 game of the year last year, and you're just now being able to get it here in America and up in Canada, I believe, and I still like this game a lot. I'm not going to rehash it again, but very cool game. I love the mechanics behind it. And Original Don and I got one more game to play before we've kind of exhausted all of the story elements, and then kind of incorporated everything into the game. And as a bonus, I also said I almost put the Magnificent on the list because Canadian Kev was bringing with him the relatively hard to find expansion. And so we actually also got to play that as well, and I'm still enjoying that. The expansion is interesting. There's some parts of it that I'm glad I have, and I would always use other parts that, you can take or leave, but Magnificent is still also a very cool game. The next one on the list was Catharsis. This is the game that was kind of a mix in my mind of One Deck Dungeon and Too Many Bones and Dice Throne. And again, cool game. They sent me just recently a couple decks that were left out of my original box because of a mistake when it was printed at the factory. It's a cool game. I still like it. Indie publisher, very cool. Really glad to support them. They just successfully funded another campaign. Looking forward to new stuff there. And the last one was Tanaris Adventures, and this is one that, as I had mentioned before, I've been waiting years for this. It is the solo co-op expansion to Arena the Contest, and very happy with it. I played quite a bit through the whole first week. I even have a video out on it as well. So, for those of us counting, which I hope was all of you, that means the whole list. Again, 2 months in a row, I've played the entire list. I'm not going to pretend I'm going to be able to get through the entire year playing the whole list, but it's a good start. I'm feeling good about it. So jumping into the top 5 games of the month, number 5. 5 was a tough one because there was a whole bunch of games that I could have put here. It was a big, huge tie. And the one I decided to go with, I went with it because the last play I had was at a local convention with some people who'd never played before, and one person I'd never even met before. And everyone picked it up, they enjoyed it, they had a good time, and the person who'd never even heard of the game actually took home the win. It was just a very cool kind of event, and so I'm giving it the edge. And so the number 5 is Theurgy, which I've talked about a whole bunch. I'm not going to dive into it again, it's a really cool game. Go down to the description if you think you'd like to get your own copy. There's an email there. Reach out, get a copy. There's not a ton of them left, and it's not particularly easy to find, but reach out, get one. It's fantastic. Number 4 is one that's called Dice Kingdoms of Valeria, and I actually have a video coming maybe this week, maybe next week, somewhere in there, that is just one that I did not think I was going to love. It's one of the games in the Valeria series, which is just kind of this world that all these games are in with a similar art style and so on. But this is a game that looked to me a little bit like a Hadrian's Wall, and I love Hadrian's Wall. I don't love roll and writes in general, and I have several here that already, and I figured this would be one I'm going to play, review, and send off, because it's probably not going to be one that I want to keep. But it looks like I'm wrong, because this kind of to me feels like a Hadrian's Wall light, and that is exciting to me. So I'm actually pretty high on this particular game. I liked it a lot. There's space for it on my shelf, at least right now. I'm definitely going to play this again. It doesn't have the same type of forever combo making and perpetual motion type thing you can do in Hadrian's Wall, but you do have some of that combo-tastic goodness in a quicker, lighter game. Number 3 on the list is one I just mentioned before, that is Catharsis. Canadian Kev and I played it a bit. I played it with Original Don, played it with a lot of people. Enjoying it, looking forward to playing the new stuff. That is Catharsis, coming in at number 3. At number 2 is, again, I already mentioned it, Tenaris Adventures. I played it enough to do a video on it. It's a huge dungeon crawl, so that means I put, I don't know, 20 hours into this game or something like that. I don't know how many hours I did. A lot of hours went into this game. Really, I'm really liking it. Supposedly, today at some point, the rest of my stuff is showing up. We'll see if that actually happens. And that brings us to the number 1. Now, this one surprised me a little bit because I kind of backed this one on a whim on Kickstarter. It's a print and play, and they're sending me new stuff every single week for the entire year, and that is Dungeon Pages. This is a roll and write. Every week they send a new hero that you can use, and this hero has his own little dungeon that is working its way through, and you're rolling dice, and you have some powers that can mitigate the numbers, and where you can put the dice down, the numbers onto the little grid you have. And it's very mechanical, roll and write, a little Sudoku feeling thing, but it's very clever. It's a very clever game. And because it's so fast and I have all these different iterations showing up, I can foresee that this is going to wind up on the list several times this year, and I will be very, very, very surprised if it's not on the end of the year as one of my most played games, just because it's so quick, it's so easy, it's a solo thing. Very clever game. If you're into roll and write, it's definitely worth checking this one out. Now this brings us into the predictions for March. And the first one, as always, is the list. We'll see if we can knock something else off. The next one is Return to Dark Tower. Now this one I'm confident about because it's one that Canadian Kev really wanted to play. For those of you who don't know, one of my other jobs is I'm a professional stage actor, and I've been working on a play that's just opened up. And Canadian Kev is actually the director of the show, and so he's actually staying with us. But he really wanted to play Return to Dark Tower. I actually don't have Return to Dark Tower, but a friend of mine has it locally. He brought it down. But a friend of mine locally does have it, and so I'm pretty confident that this is one that we're going to get played. Next one on the list is one that I've put on this list so many times, and it never gets played, and that is Vindication. I recently got the expansion stuff that I ordered, and I know that when the new expansion, there's some reprint stuff they have to do, but I have yet to even exhaust the old stuff that came in my box that I got originally, and so I want to get to the new stuff, but before I do that, I feel like I have to get to the old stuff, so I'm really committed to playing Vindication in this particular month. Next one is League of Dungeoneers, and this is another one of the huge kind of old school style dungeon crawl games in the vein of like a Warhammer Quest type game. And in my brain, this is a direct competitor to Dungeon Universalis, which I really enjoyed. So I'm really looking forward to trying League of Dungeoneers and kind of seeing how they stack up, which one I prefer, because I don't know that I need both of them. They're these two huge boxes. Part of me is actually kind of worried that, what if it is League of Dungeoneers that I prefer, because I've actually already ordered some other stuff for Dungeon Universalis, which I don't know when that's going to actually show up. So it's a very, very big moment if I'm going to be picking one of these over the other, or maybe I'll figure out a way to keep both of them. They're very clever games. It does a lot of cool stuff, so we shall see. And that brings us to the last one. And the last one is Tales from the Red Dragon Inn. As you probably know, I love Red Dragon Inn. It's just such a in-your-face, mean, fun little take that card game, but the world is so clever, and I love the characters, the way they build these characters. Well, now I can actually go dungeon crawling with them. And there's actually, my understanding is there's only one copy of this game on the planet right now. And luckily for me, one of the members of the Slugfest company is actually just up the road in Oakland, and he decided that I could hold on to this for a little bit before I ship it off to back to the company. And this means that I'm going to be making a playthrough video and also hopefully playing it through enough to where I can actually do an advanced kind of a review of the game, because it's actually what everyone's going to be getting. And I'm very excited. This is probably the easiest one on the list, because I know that I'm going to actually be playing this and making a couple of videos on it. But there you have it, folks. That is the top 5 games of February. And since this is the monthly menu, please do consider becoming a channel member. It's really easy. Just right down below, there's the subscribe button, and there's also the join button. Just click on that. Takes you through it. You can do it. You can join for as little as 99 cents per month, and it just really helps me get more equipment, get more games, go to conventions, and keep making content. I really do appreciate it. We actually do have a couple new members this month, which is super, super exciting to me. And if you join, you get the various perks that are there. You get to see videos early, depending on what level you're at. You get access to some polls and stuff early, and your vote counts more, etc., etc., etc. And we actually have a couple new members this month, and I'm super appreciative of them and everybody. So, as always, thank you to Dead Alive Games, Canadian Kev, Original Don, and our two new members this month, Mark Bashro and Michael Booth. Thank you so much for being so very supportive. And I'm looking forward to providing some awesome content for you, and I hope you enjoy the super secret stuff that you get to see as a channel member. All right, so there you have it, folks. That is the monthly menu for February 2023. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.